All right, hello everyone. We're going to be looking at the beginning of the 30, 60, 90 triangle lesson. So we start off, we have the situation where we're looking at a quilt block, but it's shaped as a hexagon. And then what we have here is we have these equilateral triangles, which are made up by, if you take the white area and the shaded area and put them together, you'll see up along here, it makes an equilateral triangle. And so each equilateral triangle is cut in half then, with one half shaded and one half unshaded. That's what we have here. So what is the measure of each angle in an equilateral triangle? The way you'd get there, you think to yourself, all the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So if they're all equal, what number times 3 would equal 180 is what you're thinking of. So you'd get 60, right? 60, 60, and 60 adds up to 180. So every angle, let's just focus on the top one right here. Every angle is then going to be 60. So this is the what I'm doing right here is the process to understanding where a 30, 60, 90 triangle comes from. So if we just, that's a terrible triangle. Let's make this side look reasonable. All right, that's good enough. So if it's 30, 60, I'm sorry, this is so bad. All right, let's try this. Third time's the charm. All right, that's got to be good enough. So if each angle is 60, that's what we're doing right now. All right, so then we continue. And so what is the measure of each angle in the smallest triangle in the hexagonal quilt block shown above? So the measure of each angle in the smallest triangles. So what this is talking about doing is when we then take this, so each angle is 60, and when you take it and cut it in half, well, now this angle is still 60. Since we cut it in half, this angle right here is 90. And then what happened, this was a 60, but it got cut in half. So each angle in there is 30, all right? So this is why what we have is called a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So if we continue using the angles, how can we decide which angle is smaller and which one is larger? Sorry, which leg is smaller and which leg is larger? So let's now focus in on just one of these triangles. So I'm going to erase the other half. So which would be the smallest leg? Well, remember, what's going to happen is the angle that the side is across from will determine the size of that side. So if you look, this side right here is across from 30 degrees, which is the smallest out of 30, 60, and 90. So this is the smallest side. This side is across from 90 degrees, which is bigger than 30 and 60. So that's the largest side. It's also the hypotenuse. And then this side right here, right over here, is across from 60. So it would be the middle of the three sides. So that's how we can decide the sides. Now notice if this thing is to rotate, right? If 30 degrees was up here, well, then the smallest side would be over here across from the 30. Okay, so now it asks us if the sides of the hexagonal quilt are 4 inches, how long is the shorter leg? So to do this, let's go back, make this into a triangle out of the hexagon quilt. Right, so that's what it was at first. And this is just one triangle. And it says if the sides are 4, right, if the sides are 4, and if we continued the hexagon, it would be like, it would go like that, and have another triangle, go down here, have another triangle. You see what I'm saying? It was a hexagon. So if this side is 4, remember it's an equilateral triangle. So all the sides of the equilateral triangle would have been 4. But what they're asking is what would the short side be? So what are we going to do to this to make the short side? We cut it in half. So what is that side right there? If we cut it in half, that side was half of 4. So what we're going to have here, this side would just be 2. So notice on a 30, 60, 90, across from the 30 degrees, we have 2. Across from 90 degrees, we have 4. So how does the hypotenuse relate to the short side? So the length of the hypotenuse, the length of the short side, the hypotenuse is double. Okay, so now with that, what you're going to do, if you're in class, we will do this together. But if you're not in class, I would copy this down and go through each of these and use Pythagorean's theorem to find the missing side.